that up. Brilliant. Yeah. The drivers have been given the order to ready up, so we'll be beginning qualifying very shortly. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 20 of the PS4 Tier 2 Pacific Series here on Race Spec Esports, and boy, oh boy, do I have a race for you tonight. This is lining up to be the race of the season, undoubtedly. So here's the situation. The top three in the Drivers' Championship are separated by only 14 points. With 2 rounds to go, there are 52 points on offer in the rest of this championship. We are at a racetrack that is synonymous with title deciders, that has a natural ability to generate some of the most magnificent racing that the world has ever seen. Not just in the world of Formula One, but within the entire world of motorsport. It is undoubtedly one of the most unorthodox racetracks to ever exist. It is 100% unique. There is no circuit like this one. There is absolutely no circuit like this one. And my word, I am so keen for this. And also the fair chance of rain as well. It tends to rain a bit here, but welcome to round 20 of the championship, and welcome to the Brazilian Grand Prix at Autodromo José Carlos Pache. Oh boy. This is going to be awesome. This track, 4.3 kilometers and 15 corners. All of them unique. All of them unique. There are no 2 corners alike. There's no 2 corners that any other circuit has. You've got the legendary Center S that makes up turns 1 and 2. You've got Curva de Sol, turn 3. You've got the Retro Aposta straight between turns 3 and 4. 4 and 5, that's the Cedar de Largo that drivers have to look out for tonight, particularly the exit of turn 4. It's quite a haven for warnings around there. Turn 5 has an auto spin curve on the inside, so you'll have to avoid that at all costs. Ferradura, which makes up turns 6 and 7, you have to be a bit careful with turn 7, because if you put all 4 tyres over the white line, it's very likely that you'll gather a warning, so you have to be careful there. Yeah. As Dan the Racer is going to be the first driver to set a flying lap, it seems, or rather to begin an out lap. We'll get all this stuff up, detailed telemetry, lap data, track map, there we go. But I am insanely keen for this race. Because of the sheer unknown that surrounds this race, anything can happen. The guy from last has the same chance as winning as the guy who qualifies in pole position. Can the title be decided today? It can be, mathematically. Is it going to be? I somewhat doubt it. But it can be mathematically clinched today. But it would require extreme circumstances for it to actually happen. So currently Harass is leading the championship. I'll just quickly find it, as Dan the Racer is going to take us on our first flying lap of this magnificent circuit, coming up into turns 1 and 2 that form the Center S. Now you have to be careful with turn 2 particularly. It is incredibly easy to gather a warning through there. Into turn 3, Curva de Sol, DRS open, climbing up to 335 kilometers an hour, hard on the brakes for turn 4. Is that an invalidation? No, it's not. Through the Cedar de Largo, you have to be careful on the exit. Very, very careful on the exit. Into Ferradura, that makes up turn 6 and 7. Uphill double apex right-hander. Into turn 8, the hairpin. Then turn 9, which dips, then you have to go up the hill once again. Coming out into turn 10. Second gear. Now into turn 11. downhill left-hander. Come back up the hill again into probably the most important corner on the entire circuit, turn 12, Jun Xiao. Then into the absolutely flat-out third sector. I say it's the most important corner because that corner dictates the entire third sector. And then the racer comes across the line a 1 minute 9.885 on the soft compound tyre. Proximity Ross is the next driver to set a flying lap, a 1 minute 10.1 on the medium tyre. Now, I've got the championship in front of me, so I'll be able to give accurate positions and points. Harass is currently leading. He took the lead coming out of the United States Grand Prix after a magnificent drive at Kota. He's on 205 points, currently leading by just 2 to Misty Griffin on 203. Then Aussie Suspect in P3 on 191, just 12 points behind Misty Griffin and 14 behind Harass. Kickbutt Kiwi is in 4th place. He is mathematically in contention, but the 3 drivers in front need something horrible to happen in the next 2 races in order to keep himself in contention. So it's pretty much a 3-horse race at this stage. Let's have a looky here. Tell you what, we'll ride on board with Misty Griffin, one of the championship contenders, as he jumps to the top of the table, a 1 minute 8.963, beating out his other championship rival, Aussie Suspect, by almost 0.2 of a second. Harass is still in the pit lane, rather interestingly. He's going to wait towards the end of the session to try and set his laps. Gold Gloves has invalidated Big Donga in the Ferrari, coming into turn 12. Sorry, turn 10 into turn 11. Now these corners do actually have names, but I'm absolutely horrible at speaking Portuguese, so I'll try and stay away from that. To try and not butcher their language. I can do Center S, Curva do Sol, Descida do Lago, Jun Xiao, but that's about it for me. I can't pronounce any of the corners in the middle sector. They are just far beyond my vocabulary. As Kickbutt Kiwi goes to the top of the table, that may prove critical towards his possible championship chances. He needs everything to go in his favour in order for him to still be in this fight. He's 44 points behind, so he needs to find, what, 19 points over Harass in order to stay in this fight, to bring the gap back down to 25. Oh, well, no, it'll be 8, because you can still try and get fastest laps, so he basically needs to win or finish second at this stage in order to stay in this fight. If he doesn't finish first or second, he's out of this championship fight. Kickbutt Kiwi. As Gold Gloves leaves the pit lane, he'll be a man to watch for sure. Rather, he's now leaving the pit lane. I don't know what happened then. He'll be a man to watch towards the front of the field. He's been up there and about, particularly through qualifying. Had some misfortune in a couple of races. El Tonki currently on a flying lap coming through the second sector. Different circuit. You've got the high-speed sectors of Sector 1 and 2. Then you've got the technical section in between. Along with that, and it's rapid elevation change. You can see it here. Just you're going constantly uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. It's just a constant roller coaster around here. It is undoubtedly South America's premier racetrack. I can't think of any racetrack in South America that has this high a standing in terms of circuit design, other than maybe the Nelson Piquet circuit, which some were saying was going to be a replacement for this place a little while ago. I remember the Brazilian government saying they were going to change the racetracks from here to the Nelson Piquet circuit, which is located in Rio. But I think they scrapped that idea, because I wouldn't want to see the Brazilian Grand Prix anywhere else than this racetrack. It's undoubtedly one of the most legendary racetracks in all of motorsport. Up there with Monza and Spa, Monaco, Suzuka, Silverstone. It's Golden Gloves, he's currently on a lap coming through Sector 2. With almost 9.5 minutes left in the session, 4 drivers yet to set a lap time. We'll go back to Lunacy. I think he's coming through the second sector. Yep. Ooh, has to be careful there. We'll watch Golden Gloves for now. Right on board. Coming up to Junso. Coming up the hill in the third sector. Through turn 14, then into turn 15. He's going to try and hug the left-hand side as much as he can. Comes across the line, it's an 8.7, puts him P2, a very respectable time. Like I said, he typically qualifies within the top 5 in these races, so he'll definitely be mixing it up with the top dogs as Lunacy jumps up to 4th place, becoming the 4th driver in the 1 minute 8s. 1 minute 8.976. But this is the guy to watch. Current championship leader. He's on red hot form after his win in Japan. Been super consistent and super quick as well. As I said, he's taken the championship lead away from Misty Griffin. So what can this guy do? Right on board. Tell you what, get rid of the track map. We'll keep the lap data up. We'll keep the telemetry up, but we'll get rid of the leaderboard, and we'll pay extra close attention to this lap because I think this is going to be a mega one from Harass. The DRS Open. He's in mode 4. Interesting. He's not quite in hot lap mode. Lap begins and already 340 kilometers an hour, hard braking into turn 1. Kisses the apex quite nicely through turn 2 into turn 3. My word! And he's pulled out of it. He must have got an invalidation out of it. Either that or he's just pulled out of the lap, not having any of it. Probably go back into the pit lane, put on a fresh set of softs and go out again. Kippa Kiwi. Is he on an out lap? No, he's on a flying lap, but he must have pulled out. Yep, now he switched it up into mode 5. He's going to go again. Alright. So this is our current pole setup with 7 minutes remaining. We'll see how this driver conducts himself around Interlagos. 50 meter board, hard on the brakes. Again, very similar line to what Harass took, but took turn 2 a hell of a lot better through Curva de Sol. Now I've seen some drivers keep to the left hand side when exiting Curva de Sol just to minimize distance. I think I remember Aaron, L3F4, one of the tier 1 drivers, do that through there. I can't remember what race it was though. Yeah, the keep to the left just to minimize distance rather than take a normal racing line. Through turn 9 into turn 10. He's got a bit of traffic in front, but it shouldn't play too much havoc. He's low on fuel as well, but I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. Into Junso. Climbing up the hill once again into the sun. To turn 14, then the final corner, turn 15. Hugs to the left. It's a 1 minute 8.534. Beats his own time by 1.5 tenths of a second. Now, is Harass on a flyer? I guess so. He's done a 19.3, so he didn't invalidate, he just pulled out of his lap. But here we go, through turn 15. It's a 1 minute 8.6 on 2 lap old softs as well. He's done well. Cuts turn 2. There we go. So out of all of the championship contenders, Harass is on top. Well, technically it's Kick Butt Kiwi, but as I said, it's a very small chance. Mathematical chance, yes, but a very small one. Through turn 1, uses second gear Aussie. That way you get that little bit of extra rotation. Try and get the car straightened out as quickly as possible. Down the Retro Aposta into Descida de Lago. Fourth gear. Goes through quite nicely. Turn 5, that inside curb, if you take it wrong, it can spin you out. Turn 6, Ferradura. I think I pronounced that right. And turn 7 into turn 8. And turn 9. Try and get on the power as early as possible. Climb up the hill again into turn 10. Second gear, will he use first? No, he won't. And into turn 11, downhill left-hander. Then Jun Xiao, turn 12. Outside it's Harass, he's probably out of fuel, that's why he's so slow. So Aussie Suspect comes across the line, it's a 1 minute 8.6, it puts him to P3. So it seems like the track is evolving quite a bit. Drivers will be looking to set a time as late as they possibly can. Try and take full effect of the track evolution. Big Donga up in P5 as well. Misty Griffin in P6. Currently behind both of his rivals who sit on the first and second row at this stage. Still got 3 minutes of qualifying left. Ken's on an in-lap. Ardi, I think, is on an in-lap. Installator, I think he's about to begin a flying lap. Coming through turn 12. James Crew's currently on a flyer as well. So Installator, he's had a few solid performances in the past couple of races, including a podium in Kota and in Mexico. Been some superb performances from the Racing Point driver. Opens DRS down the Retro Aposta. Now the 75 meter board, yeah, it's about 75 meters. Takes the corner quite nicely into turn 5. Uphill into turn 6. Misses the apex of the first part. Covers well for turn 7. Typically I'd take a far narrower apex, get as far to the right hand side as I possibly can. First gear, there we go, that's the first time I've seen a driver use first through turn 10. Just to get that little extra rotation on the apex, just to try and straighten the car out as quickly as possible. Sector 2 yellow flags, it's probably just a slow car. DRS open, very low on ERS, but he's going to make it. It's a 109.3. So he does improve his time, but currently has an improved position. And I don't think he'll have enough time to set a lap either. Unless I've got a timing glitch, which is entirely possible. I think if that time is right, Insulator is going to be struggling to get out of P15. In fact, I don't think he'll be going any higher than that. Kickbutt Kiwi currently on a flying lap coming through turn 4. Did he get a sneaky toe from his teammate? If so, well done to the McLaren team for organising that. That's very well done. Through turn 7 into turn 8. Turn 9. Oh, that back end of the McLaren was a little bit sideways. Suskas has retired in the pit lane, so that's okay. Through turn 11. Oh, he is pushing Kickbutt Kiwi. Then into the third sector, up the hill, through turn 14. He might get a toe from El Tonki. Oh, maybe a little one. He's going to come across the line and he improves again. A 1 minute 8.315. and harass P2, a 1 minute 8.494. Harass won't be starting on pole, and is Aussie Suspect out of fuel. He is out of fuel, so the best he can do will be P3 at this stage. Gold Gloves, he comes across the line. He snags P2, a 1 minute 8.470. What about Misty Griffin? He's up by 2/10. That puts him in a potential P5. He's going to come across the line, hugging the left-hand side, and it's P5. It is P5 for Misty Griffin. He's only just behind his championship rivals. My word, is it close. El Tonki has retired from the session. Then the race are currently on a lap. Artie is about to finish one. I wonder, do I have the timing glitch? I just might. Best he can do, the McLaren is 14th. Insulator's coming into the pits. Dan the Racer can't improve either. He's currently in 13th place. I think that's it. I think that's qualifying done and dusted. So it's Kickbutt Kiwi, mathematically in contention. He's exactly where he needs to be, on pole position, with a 1 minute 8.314. He beats Gold Gloves by a bit over 1.5 tenths of a second in P2. Harass in P3, Aussie Suspect in P4. So it's a championship contender, second row, as the AI does what the typical AI, just run into the back of each other. It's great. There we go. That's qualifying officially done and dusted. So, Kickbutt Kiwi on pole, Gold Gloves in P2, Harass in P3, Aussie Suspect in P4, championship contender, second row. Misty Griffin just behind in P5. So they're all grouped together very nicely, and they're all on the soft compound tyre as well. Lunacy in P6, Donger in P7, Honest Crook in P8, Deputy Dildog in P9, Kentenma P10, Proximity Ross in P11, Suscus P12, Dan the Racer P13, Artie Chengas in P14, Installator P15, El Tonki P16, James Cruz P70, and Candy Cane, after not setting a time, will start from last on the grid in 18th. Now, is it going to be raining? I do not know. It's clear skies, and it doesn't appear like it's going to rain either. Oh, Tier 1 doesn't have a stream. Oh. Well, this is where all the action's at anyway in Tier 2. And we got this epic championship fight as well, so it should be good to watch. Oh, okay. So it does have rain. It looks clear skies though, so clouds must be just not there. They must be at a different angle on the circuit. But okay, thank you very much. Rain at the end. Oh, isn't that typical Brazil? There has to be rain somewhere. But yeah, I don't know what it is about this circuit. There's nothing in its characteristics that would suggest that it's an amazing god-tier racetrack if you look at its circuit design. But in real life and in this game, it just generates awesome racing. Like in real life, you've got 1991 Brazilian Grand Prix that we all remember, where Ayrton Senna Grand Prix victory under immense pressure, with a deteriorating gearbox in that McLaren of his, and still come home to win the race. We had 2007, we had 2008, we had 2012 as another memorable one as well, and of course the most recent one in 2019. That was an absolute bonkers Grand Prix. it was rated as one of the best races in this decade of Formula One, not just in the hybrid era and not just in 2019. But yeah, I don't know what it is about this track. It just generates awesome racing. It just does. You just have to accept it. There's no logic behind it. It just is just epic. Oh dearie me. So Kickbutt Kiwi, he's pulled away from the rest of the field. Now it's not a problem for him to do this, because what will happen is that, yeah, the AI will take over and it will put him on the grid, but your tyre temperature doesn't actually deteriorate once you get on the grid. It stays whenever the AI took over and it parked up on the grid. That's the temperature. It will stay at that temperature. It won't actually decrease. So you can drive off into the distance, warm your tyres up and park up on the grid, and they won't be stone cold. They'll still be relatively warm. But it's more because it's to stop people right back of the grid taking forever to get to the grid, to stop them from getting an advantage of having really nice warm tyres and the guys at the front having stone cold ones. So, but the drivers are now lined up on the grid. Oh boy, I am preparing for the race of the season. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 5 red lights, and it's lights out. That was quick, and away we go here at Interlagos, the beginning of the 36 laps of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and Golden Gloves is having none of it, down the inside into 1, but he leaves himself vulnerable to harass in turn 2, but he hangs on to P2 for now. And we have an accident further back. That's kind of expected. I don't know, everyone gets through relatively well. It was just sort of a brief yellow. Maybe someone ran off the circuit. No, everyone gets through. Through turn 4 and 5, Descida de Lago, everyone gets through relatively okay. Through turns 6 and 7 into turn 8, Kickbutt Kiwi is still leading. Harass has found himself in P2. Golden Gloves has slotted down into P3. Griffin has over one of his championship rivals, Aussie Suspect, for P4. Oh my goodness gracious me! That is an enormous accident! Virtual safety... You're kidding. Just a virtual safety car. For that! What on earth happened there? I'm going to have to watch the stream for that one, because holy dooly was that something! Oh my goodness gracious me. Typically accidents happen through turns 1, 2 and 3 on lap 1, not at turn 10. That is undoubtedly the most different accident I have ever seen. I've never seen a car do that, ever. Oh, and Gold Gloves, he was being opportunistic and goes deep into turn 4. He leaves himself vulnerable to Misty Griffin at turn 5, but oh my god. And we got a couple of guys in, James Cruz, Artie and Kenny Kane. I did see the McLaren and the Renault. I didn't see James get caught up in that. I noticed a 5-second penalty. Oh my god. Renault forced the McLaren off the track. Thank you very much, Alcatraz. I'm going to have to look back at that once this race has calmed down, because holy moly, we've got drama already. So we got sort of 2 groups formed. We got the leading sort of top 10-ish, or leading 9 cars. And then we got sort of the midfield, who were caught up in that accident at turn 10. Okay. Wow. So Harassi's now right behind Kickbutt Kiwi. Remember, Kiwi has to win or finish second to stay mathematically in contention. So he's doing a good enough job at this stage, but with Harass in P2 and Missy Griffin in P3 and Aussie Suspect in P6, he's not going to fight in the Drivers' Championship at Abu Dhabi. But he's doing the job that he needs to do to stay in contention. In fact, he's starting to pull away from Harass He's opened up an almost 1 second gap, almost. And we've got Gold Gloves and Misty Griffin, half a second separate these two. Now, Misty Griffin will get DRS, but he needs a very good run out of here, turn 12. And he kind of gets that. They both sort of get an even run. He'll get DRS. Is he close enough? Opens it into mode 3, in high mode. He's gaining. He's not close enough. Not yet. But he might line up a move into turn 4. Oh, Gold Gloves makes a little mistake on the exit of turn 1. Through Curve of the Soul. In the slipstream. DRS open again. In overtake mode. He's going to commit to the inside line. Down the inside at turn 4. Is Gold Gloves going to get a switchback? He's going to try. He's got the inside line and got the drive. But Misty Griffin, sort of in the second half of that corner, was able to pull away. A little bit of contact, but that's okay. Oh, that back end of the Racing Point is a little bit sideways, as we got a bit of scrapping in the back half of the field as well. So once this calms down, we'll have a look at what's going on in the midfield. But oh my goodness gracious me. Goodness gracious. Side by side, Renault didn't give up the space to the McLaren, forced them off the track. Oh, okay. There will definitely be a steward's investigation post-race for it, because that's the first time I've seen an accident like that, where you got two cars basically turning themselves into torpedoes and ploughing into the midfield. Wow. Oh, here we go. We also got this battle for P5. So we've got a battle for the lead, a battle for P3, and a battle for P5 between three cars. Aussie Suspect, he's got Donga and Lunacy in behind him. Through turn 9 into turn 10. Donga. He'll be desperately trying to get a good run out of turn 12. If he can do that, he can really line up an overtake into turn 1. Through turn 12. It's a pretty decent run. Aussie had a little bit of a squirm on corner exit. DRS, mode 4. He's gaining. I think he's going to look. He's going to look to the outside though. Into turn 1 we go. Suspect holds the inside line. This is for a championship, remember. Around the outside he can't hold it. Donga slots himself into P5. But does Suspect have DRS? Yes he does. Donga defends the inside line into Descida de Largo. What does Lunacy do? He just sits and watches. Through turn 5, they're side by side. In contact! Ooh, a bit of forceful stuff there. Aussie Suspect demanding a little bit of more room. The track does narrow up going up the hill. Oh, look! Oh, and he's turned him! I don't believe it! Has he slowed down? Oh, he has slowed down, hasn't he? Slowed down to keep Aussie in front. Oh, I do not believe it. It seems like unintentional contact because from Big Donga's behaviour after the crash. It looks like he came to a complete stop on the circuit to make sure that Aussie... Oh my fucking god, that was close. Aussie Suspect desperately trying to get into pit lane, had to cut across Suskas. Suskas had no idea he was going into the pits. This is too early for a pit stop, but yeah, Aussie Suspect with that damage had to force his way in of the Haas to get into pit lane, gets a front wing change and onto the hard tyre. And I think the hard tyre... But your leader, Harass, he's still hanging on to his lead after making the move into turn 4. The Misty Griffin is gaining. He's now within a second of the leading duo, so he'll be introducing himself to this battle very shortly. Behind, Deputy Dildog is currently in 6th place. Excuse me. He's got Donga behind. After that incident at turn 9 between him and Suspect, he's going to look to the... Oh! I don't think either driver is at fault there. It is an corner. It's not like Deputy severely moved on the corner. It was more or less taking a normal racing line. Just Donga didn't quite know to go to the left or go to the right. But he gets past. Not too much time was lost either. Oh, revving glitch. Love that. Installator currently finding himself in 9th place. Recovering 6. Oh, hang on a minute. Dildog spun round. My word. Turn 5. Probably touched the inside curb. And Dildog gets off the track. A very sportsmanlike thing to do. Get out of the way to make sure he's not a hassle to anybody. Very well done. But he probably just touched the inside curb, I imagine, at turn 5 and spun him into the wall. Seen that a couple of times. Been victim to it once. Just touching that inside curb. Destroyed my car as well. Quite early in the race too. It was lap 5 or something. Just touched that inside curb and I was out. Dildog, he'll be creeping his way round to the pits. I'm pretty sure he does have wing damage. But Arras leading. Less than half a second separating the top 2. And Misty Griffin just slowly but surely catching the top 2. As the Mercedes does indeed go into the pit lane. No safety cars as of yet. We're closing within 1/3 race distance. Or Misty Griffin missing the braking point for turn 8. But doesn't lose too much time because of the 2 cars battling in front. And Gold Gloves, he's just there or thereabouts. I think as soon as Misty catches up to the battle, Gold Gloves will soon catch up as well. Sort of the nature of how battles work. But I think Kickbutt Kiwi is definitely going to look for an overtake here. He's going to look around the outside, leading into turn 1, but Harass has got superb straight line speed. Into turn 1 we go. And around the outside, Kickbutt Kiwi, excellent move. Fully utilising the DRS, and safety car has been deployed. James Cruz has had an accident on circuit. And there he is. Turn 5. Second driver claimed by that corner. This will shake everything up. Proximity Ross, Honest Crook, Ken, El Tonki, they're all coming in. Both Red Bulls are coming in, so they'll do a double stack. But you have to come in. It's a free pit stop. An absolutely free pit stop. Come in, get onto a fresh set of rubber. I think El Tonki might gamble with the mediums, as he's already on the hards. And away he goes. His teammate will now stop. Serve a 5 second. Okay. Oh no, it's probably the pit crew just preparing to do the stop. Onto the mediums, as I thought he might. Tyres, tyres, tyres. Need to see tyres. Wowee. So James Cruz is the first DNF of this race, having an almighty crash at turn 5. Kickbutt Kiwi's in, Harasses in, Misty Griffin's in. Gold Gloves, what does he do? He comes in as well. He's following the leaders. Into the pits nice and safely. Lunacy in, Donga in. Suscuss is in as well. He'll be switching to the hard tyre, as he started on the mediums. Installator in as well. Dan the Racer, interesting, stays out. He'll become the race leader, I think. Yeah, I think he will. There he goes. So Dan the Racer is your new race leader. The Kickbutt Kiwi in P2, Mr. Griffin in P3. Interesting call from Dan to stay out. He's got track position. But he needs to make another pit stop, and the pit lane is fairly long here. The AI is in control of your car for a while. That, and you have to negotiate the pit exit, which is a nightmare. There we go. I can finally take a look at that incident now, seeing as everything has settled down. Everything's neutralised, then it'll all be chaos again. Let's have a looky. I'll turn it down. That way no sound is blaring out. It was lap 1, turn 10. Where is it? Oh, that's lap 2. Go back. Alrighty. Oh my god, that happened quite late. I thought it happened a bit earlier than that. But no, it didn't. So there they are, side by side. Oh, Renault. Oh dear. There was a McLaren on the inside. There was just enough overlap between the two cars. There was just a bit of overlap, and yeah, Alcatraz, you're quite right. Pushed the McLaren onto the grass. McLaren completely innocent. But yeah, a few unique strategies going on as I was looking back at the replay. Kickbutt Kiwi on the hard tyre, Misty Griffin harassed Gold Gloves and Lunacy on the blah 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 on the medium tyre. As Racer said in the chat, in the stream chat, the mediums will make it, but they are a pretty long-lasting tyre around here at Brazil. But I suppose with the hard tyre you're not taking that risk of a tyre potentially exploding. You know, some drivers aren't very good with their tyres. They can burn them up pretty quick. Increases the risk of a puncture or something like that. But yeah, wear isn't too much of a... Oh my goodness, you saw that, folks. Aussie suspect, oh my goodness me. Has an almighty spin off the track, and he's now in 16th place. One of the championship contenders is well out of the points. And Dan the Racer commences the race restart. Lap 13 of 36 here at Brazil. Kickbutt Kiwi closely behind in second. Dan the Racer completely missing the apex of turn 1 and cutting turn 2 because of it. But he's still leading. Kiwi in second, Griffin in third, Harass in fourth, Gold Gloves in fifth. Proximity Ross finds himself in 6th place after the pit stops. The Renault car, not Renault, Alfa Romeo car looking good. Hardy on the hards as well, like his teammate, as Blocky mentioned in the chat. El Tonki looks down the inside in the Red Bull. A superb move on the grippier tyre. He had the grip and the commitment to make the move down the inside, as Artie gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Yeah, if anyone saw that, can you please tell me what happened? Because I wasn't paying... Oh my word! I wasn't paying too much attention to Aussie in the train. I just noticed the Toro Rosso send itself into the infield. There we go. Lap 1. Well, the first lap back under green flag racing has been completed. Big Donga finds himself in 17th as well. Lunacy finds himself in 16th. What happened to those two? Did they make... Oh, they surely didn't make pit stops just before. Oh no, they made 2 pit stops. See, they had to have made 2 pit stops. Okay, interesting. But Dan the Racer's still leading He's doing a good job to hang on to the lead. Not many overtaking opportunities in the second sector. You can Hamilton it into turn 10 if you want to, although that might not end up being a very good result. But up the hill once again. We're closing in on the halfway mark. Rain in 10 minutes. So, that is interesting. Does Kiwi know that? Did the McLarens know that there was going to be rain during this race? Because then you probably put on the mediums. In fact, maybe someone could have gambled with the soft tyre perhaps, if they were desperate. A soft, then pray for intermediate conditions. Maybe a third way through or something like that. That would be a gambling strategy, but it could pay off. See, that's the thing about Formula 1, about skill and car performance. You need a bit of luck on your side as well. And if you can just pull off a good strategy, and the weather falls in your favour, who knows? Sector 2, yellow flags. It's Ken. He's had a moment. Coming out of turn 9, entering turn 10. Not a great day, it seems, for Ken in the Red Bull. His teammate is in the points at this stage. El Tonki in 8th place on the medium tyre. Through the centre S once again. Sector 3, yellow flags. Candy Cane is out of the session, and safety car has been deployed. Now, Deputy got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. And there's Candy Cane's AI strewn on the circuit. Now let's have a look at Deputy. Has he got any damage? This is Aussie's saving grace, this safety car. No, Deputy doesn't look like he has any damage. Now guys, remember, with the green light on top of the safety car, it means you overtake it. If it's a yellow light on top of the safety car, you don't overtake it. Donga serving a 5-second penalty. So all of these guys have now got a second chance, including Lunacy and Donga and Lunacy, that were so far at the back. Now Lunacy, I would gamble on another set of softs, to be honest. Oh, he's going with the medium tyre, okay. Interesting. I would be a gambling man and put on a... He's on 2-lap-old mediums. They're old mediums. Okay. Might have just stayed out in the softs, to be honest. Just prayed for rain. But oh well. No one's on the soft tyre now. Dan the Racer stays out. Oh, Dan, you clever boy. Oh, how did I not think of that? Oh, how did I not think of that? I was thinking, Dan, yeah, you would surely go in, but no, he's going to stay out. He's going to wait until the rain. Oh, you clever sod. How did I not think of that? So he's going to stay out as long as he possibly can on those tyres and wait for rain. Yeah, but he's put on old mediums. For some reason, Lunacy. They're 2-lap-old mediums. I would have stuck with the softs and see what happened. But there we go. That's what Dan's doing. I was wondering what his game plan was. He's thinking. That's what he's doing. He is praying that the rain comes relatively soon. He can grab the intermediate tyre. So he's fighting properly for this position. He's not just holding it because he hasn't done a pit stop. He is waiting until the rain comes. And there are clouds coming. The field's bunched up. We'll do another lap under safety car. Then we'll get back under green flag racing. And here come the clouds. Here comes the rain. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got strategies playing out. We got guys on different tyres. We got... possible rain that we don't know when it's coming. Wait a minute. Oh! Kiwi's off the circuit. And he's lost 2 positions in the process. Now, he won't be able to get those back. Surely not. Hang on a minute. Because, yeah, he lost 2 positions then. After having an accident. He must have got a warning for overtaking harass. So he was allowed to get back Misty Griffin. Because Misty wasn't in front for long enough. But obviously he got like a warning thing to get back behind harass. How about that? Oh dearie fellas. Just give each other some space. Just, you know, chill. You know. And another thing that I've learned after doing several safety car restarts is that you shouldn't be right up behind someone. You shouldn't be right up behind someone when you're doing a restart. Move to their left or right. Don't be right up their gearbox, because that only means you'll get wing damage if they have to brake. Be alongside them, more or less. Sort of like side-by-side restart sort of thing. But not so that... See, look, don't be right behind him. Pull off to one side. Like that. Exactly what Kiwi is doing. Just go to one side. And go side by side with the car next to you. And we're back under green flag racing. Lap 19 of 36 has begun here at Interlagos. Dan the Racer is your leader. Harass is in P2 now after gaining a position rather from Kickbutt Kiwi, making a mistake at turn 1. Now he lost 2 positions, but he's managed to get back one of them. He's in P3. But harassed down the inside at turn 4. Kiwi tries to follow him through, but it's to no avail at this stage. Through turn 5. Up the hill into turn 6. And he holds on to the position. Dan holds on to P2 for now. But he understeers, but Kickbutt Kiwi has nowhere to go. Dan the Racer just holding the middle of the road. Doing a fantastic job in the Williams. Playing a risky game with the hards that might pay off in the end. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be difficult to overtake in intermediate conditions. On any circuit it is difficult to overtake in intermediate conditions. Or as Gold Gloves runs quite wide through turn 12, and so does his teammate in the background. But here comes Kickbutt Kiwi in the McLaren. He will dart to the inside. Oh! Ooh, I don't like that. Kiwi finds a way past. And he hangs on to P2 for now. Dan the Racer though, he has the slipstream. He will look to the outside, but he won't commit to it. He knows if he fights Kiwi too much, he will lose a lot of time to the guys in front and leaves himself vulnerable to the guys behind. So just be patient, just wait. He's got Misty Griffin right in behind him now. Oh, and runs wide, but has the inside line for turn 9. Griffin can't find a way past. Dan the Racer doing a good enough job to hang on for now. Got cars in the background as well, but they're all acting relatively well, it seems. No yellow flags, no nothing. So at the end of lap 20, and when Harass crosses the line, it will be the beginning of lap 21. The Mercedes driver and championship leader is leading the way by 1.3 seconds to Kickbutt Kiwi in the McLaren. Dan the Racer in P3 as DRS is now enabled. As Misty Griffin will look to the inside, Dan will go deep and will make it stick. Well done. He hangs on to P3 for now. But with DRS enabled, as Suscuss gets a 3-second time penalty, it'll be very difficult to hold on to the position. Dan might have to defend here, but he doesn't. He leaves the door open as Misty sends it down the inside. A very clean overtake. Very well done. Gold Gloves, can he capitalise on the situation? Oh, he goes into the back of the Williams and gets end plate damage. He now has a broken wing, and down the inside goes Suscuss, and there might have been a bit of contact. Suscuss and the racing point of Gold Gloves at turn 8. But very opportunistic move and very well executed by Suscuss down the inside at turn 10. We've got an almighty trying behind as well that we've got to keep an eye on. Dan the Racer currently holding on to P4 quite well. DRS open. Now, I think what Dan should do now is just consolidate his position, stay within DRS as long as he possibly can with Misty. Let Misty do all the hard work and just pull him along. Misty's on medium tyres, so he's got better grip and better speed. Dan the Racer will get DRS, and all he has to do is just sit in behind and be patient. That's all he needs to do. Got a battle here for P9 as well. Donga, Suspect, side by side through turn 5 into turn 6. Around the outside goes the Toro Rosso. Can he hold it there? Not quite. He runs all 4 wheels off the white line and gets a 3-second time penalty because of it. Track extending warnings around this track are pretty strict. You do have to be careful, as he's got Lunacy right in behind. Lunacy, after being near at the back of the grid, is now in 11th. Same with Donga. They were both in those sort of last 2 positions, way at the back. But now they're in 9th and 11th. We've got sector 1 yellow flag. Is that Dan the Racer? I do not believe it. It's Dan the Racer and Suscuss. Oh dearie me. What has happened between these two, I wonder? These two were 4th and 5th. And there goes Dan's strategy, more or less out the window, it seems. Sector 3 yellow flag. Suscuss completely stopped on circuit as well. Oh dearie me. Dan desperately needed nothing to go wrong, and unfortunately for him something did. Now Proximity Ross and Ardy in the McLaren are now fighting for P4. Only 3/10 separating the two, as we're nearing 2/3 race distance. Behind that, Big Donga now finds himself in 6th place. El Tonki in 7th. Lunacy in 8th. Aussie Suspect is in the points in 9th after having a bit of an incident under the first safety car restart. Honest Crook finds himself in the points as well in 10th place on the soft compound tyre as well. He might be lining up an overtake here. He'll be looking to the outside at turn 15 and be looking on the outside into turn 1 as well. That is a horrible camera shot. Codemasters, give me a better one. Side by side, and Aussie Suspect holds on for now. We got a scrap in front as well between Lunacy and El Tonki. Oh, side by side, and rain. Is that rain? It is rain. There we go. 2/3 race distance, and there's rain. So you could have done 2 soft stints, doing 12 laps in each stint, and gamble on the medium tyre now. It's completely and utterly dependent on how quickly this becomes intermediate conditions. It does vary quite a bit in this game. We also got a scrap. Oh, Donga has found himself into 4th place. He is on a charge here in the Ferrari. He is in no mood to mess around. He's in the top 4, driving superbly. And we got side-by-side action. Okay, it's okay. I wonder how the stewards would see that. All 4 wheels off the racetrack, over the white line. He has the inside line through turn 1. Proximity Ross has the inside line for turn 2. But Ardy, with the inside line for turn 3, moves himself into 5th, with Lunacy slotting his way through into 6th, and ultimately into 5th place. That's an excellent bit of racecraft from the Williams driver. 2 overtakes within a matter of 3 corners. Well done. He slots himself into 5th place. Anything else happening? We've got a bit of stuff going on back here. Guys scrapping it out for potentially 1 point. Very good stuff. And with the rain, oh, the added drama. Oh boy. Dan the Racer, now down in 14th. That is so disappointing. I was trying to work out why he stayed out, and there we go. But he got involved in an accident between himself and Suscast, if I'm not mistaken. Both drivers off at the same corner. Sort of a tail sign of the two drivers having some sort of accident. Through turn 3, the conditions are getting worse and the cars are looking not nice to drive. Through turn 4, into turn 5. Lunacy isn't able to gain massively. I'm staying here though because this is an awesome camera shot. I love the aerial ones where you can see so much of the circuit. You can see so many drivers as well. But it seems that Donga is pretty hooked up in these conditions. He looks quick. He might be threatening that third place once he gets onto the intermediate tyre. But when Harass crosses the line, it will be 10 laps to go, if you include lap 27. But yeah, he's now starting to pull away from the Williams, so yeah, the Ferrari looks fairly hooked up. Same with McLaren, it's starting to pull away, it seems, from the Alfa Romeo of Proximity Ross. Looking further back, Honest Crook in 8th, Aussie Suspect in 9th, Installator 10th. The two Red Bulls are scrapping as Ken completely cuts turn 1. Another fantastic aerial shot. Oh, that's a very good move if he can stick a Deputy down the inside of turn 3, but El Tonki with that better drive on the outside. Oh, and into the back of the Red Bull goes Deputy. Now, was that El Tonki braking a little early, or was was a Deputy braking a little too late? Not sure. The contact and damage for the Mercedes. He'll definitely be pitting and switching onto the intermediate tyre. I do not doubt that for a second. Harass. Now, is he pitting? Maybe. Yes, no. He is. Into the pits. Kickbutt Kiwi stays out. This may prove critical to the race result. Is it intermediate conditions, or does it still favour the dry tyre? And remember, the guy who's come in is your championship leader. This might dictate a championship. That pit stop might dictate a championship, as we've got a couple of 3-second penalties come up. Does it look wet enough? Does it look wet enough? There's no spray coming off the tyres. I don't think it's wet enough. Oh, and a big understeer moment from Harass. But he'll be the first driver on the intermediate tyres for the top 5. I don't think it's wet enough either, fellas. That pit stop just might have dictated the championship. Might. We'll have to wait and see. These two are now starting to battle again. Ross has found some pace and is starting to gain. As Kickbutt Kiwi has come into the pits. He's coming off the dry tyre onto the inters. What does Griffin do? He comes in. Big Donga stays out. Is that the correct call? Nifty Griffin gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That will definitely hamper his results. Now the track is starting to look wet, no doubt, but there's no spray. There needs to be some sort of spray, and there's not really any. Kiwi, does he come out in front? He does come out in front, as Gold Gloves gets a 5-second. DRS hasn't been disabled either. And a big moment for Harass at turn 4. Massive understeer. He can't get the car turned in, and he loses a bunch of time to Kickbutt Kiwi. Oh, who in turn runs off the circuit at turn 6? It is not intermediate conditions just yet. Not quite just yet. Kiwi, is he gaining? DRS is now disabled, so Donga will be coming in. Now he's got an 11.3 second gap. I think he'll ultimately fall to a probably P4. Maybe P3. Let's watch. Into the pits. It'll be nice and easy. There we go. Well done. That was actually quite a nice pit entry. Well done. So, Kick Butt Kiwi is your race leader. Harass is in P3. Hunting down the McLaren. So we've got a battle for the win with 7 laps to go. Donga, he's coming out. It's effectively going to be side by side with Donga. But Donga, inside the pit lane, you have to go so much slower. You can't risk it. It's so easy to damage your wing. And he comes out in P4 on the freshest inters though. And during that sort of sloshy period between dry and intermediate conditions, this Ferrari looked good. So maybe we'll see Donga catch up to Misty. Not only that, but Misty's got a 5-second time penalty. Now I'll have to check what Donga's got. I will in a minute. But now you can see the spray coming off the tyres. It's very much intermediate conditions. So, oh, wait a minute. I see something. Honest Croc, the Aussie suspect. Aussie's looking left and right to try and make a move, and almost into the back of the Haas. Goes the Toro Rosso through turn 8 into turn 9. Behind them we've also got a battle. Oh my word. This is for the final point scoring position, and Aussie suspect needs as many points as he possibly can find in P10. He'd be desperately trying to find a way around the Haas. And I think if he doesn't score any points and Harass and Misty finish where they are, I think he will be mathematically out of contention going into Abu Dhabi. So it's not looking good for Aussie. Not at all. Anyway, let's have a look at the penalties, shall we? Kickbutt Kiwi, 1 warning. That's all he's got. 2 warnings for Harass. No penalties. Misty Griffin's got 5 seconds. Does he have anything else? No. What does Big Donga have? He's got 6 seconds. 9 seconds worth of penalties next to his name. What about Lunacy? He's got 3 seconds. Installator has got 1 warning. So out of the top 6, only Kickbutt Kiwi, Harass and Installator don't have penalties. Misty Griffin's got 5, Donga's got 9, Lunacy has got 3. Okay. So that would shake it up. So Lunacy needs to be less than 6 seconds behind Donga at the end of this race in order to beat him. I don't think he'll be able to beat Misty unless he has a sudden surge of pace rather. As Honest Crook now falls to 12th, so he's been overtaken by Aussie Suspect. He gets 1 point next to his name. As Misty Griffin gets 3 seconds, so he now has 8 seconds next to his name. So Lunacy needs to be 5 seconds behind, 5 seconds or less behind Misty in order to overtake him. Gap sitting at about, 6 seconds at this stage, so Lunacy needs to find a second within 3 and a bit laps, or 4 and a bit laps rather. Dan the Racer now gets a 3-second time penalty. Dan, he's actually looking pretty good in these conditions. He's gaining on Aussie. He might be trying to snag that 10th position, that 1 point away from Aussie. Very good stuff. Let's see. We go back up to the leading duo. This gap was about 1 second. It's now half a second between these two. Kick Butt Kiwi's got quite a bit in reserve that he can use as installator. Now becomes the next driver within the top 6 to get a penalty. He's 7 seconds behind. He's a fair way behind the top 5. Still, he's only 1 second in front of Ken. I'll have to check Ken's penalties just a bit. But Ras, he's just there, he's saying. He's just there. Ras desperately needs to find something. He's chucked it up into hot lap mode. Oh, hang on, what's this? Honest Crocus had a moment at turn 5. He drops down to 14th place. It's gone from bad to worse for the Haas driver, it seems. But Harass, he's using everything that he's got to keep up with the McLaren. Everything and then some, it seems. 3 laps to go. Gap 7/10 of a second. So with Misty on 8, Donga on 9. Donga needs to overtake Misty and build up a 1 second margin. It's going to be tricky in these conditions, particularly to overtake. You can see now on the minimap everyone's fairly spread out. This is sort of what happens in intermediate conditions. I'm telling you now, these two drivers out in front are pushing like crazy. They need to. They can't slip up at all. When they cross the line, be 8.6 kilometers of racing left. 30 corners they have to nail. Gap is now 1.3. It is opening. And Kick Butt Kiwi, he's got some ERS in reserve. He can use a bit. Harass is using everything that he's got to try and keep up with him. But that McLaren looks planted. Kiwi might hang on to this. Dan the Racer, he's also just behind Aussie, so we'll flip to that in just a second. Actually, we'll flip to that now, because Dan's closing. He's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. He will look, I think. He looked, he didn't commit. He's just telling Aussie, I'm right here, mate. One false move and I'm snagging P10. Now the gap's opening between the top 2, it seems. Gap is almost 2 seconds between the top 2. Harass has left the session. Oh my goodness gracious me, what has happened here? The championship leader's out of the session. With 1 lap to go. Oh my god. As Donga gets another 3-second time penalty, so that's effectively P3 out the window. But I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, I don't know about the rules in race spec if there's like a 90% distance or a 75% distance requirement. Oh my god. So Kick Butt Kiwi is definitely going to take the race win. There's going to be absolutely no challenge from Harass. Harass has joined back. Oh, thank goodness we don't have to worry about it. Oh, and Aussie Suspect is off the circuit as well. He will not score points. Oh dear. Oh, his championship campaign has finally come to an end. On such a sad note as well. 13th he'll come home in. I really wanted a 3-way fight for the championship, but Kick Butt Kiwi from pole position, wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. His second win of the championship. Harass will come home in P2, I think. Harass has got that, it's a glitch thing. He actually, yeah, he comes home in P2. There we go. So there we go, the leaderboard had corrected itself. And Big Donga comes home in third. Misty Griffin must have got a penalty towards the end of that race. Because I think Donga had him. Pretty sure. But there we go. Big Donga comes home in third. Well done. Very well done. Up 4 positions, but he made up a lot more positions than that. He was right at the back of the field at the second safety car restart. And he's climbed back to a 3rd place. Misty Griffin comes home in 4th. So, Harass scores 18. And Misty Griffin scores 12. So it's a 6-point swing in Harass's favour. It's a 10-point race coming into the final round in Abu Dhabi. Harass leads by 10 points coming into the final round. But Kickbutt Kiwi, he did exactly what he needed to do to stay in championship contention, but he is also mathematically out of it now. It doesn't take away the fact that that was an absolutely superb drive. Well done to get pole position. Well done to get the race win as well. Harass comes home in P2 and Big Donga. Well done to get P3 for Ferrari. Installator has left the session. But there we go. Your unofficial results for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Kickbutt Kiwi wins by 7.3 seconds to Harass in P2. Big Donga in P3. Misty Griffin in P4. Lunacy P5. Kentenma P6. Very well done, mate. To finish within the top 10 for Red Bull. Installator P7 up 8 positions from 15th. Proximity Ross in 8th. Artie in 9th. And Dan the Racer comes back to finish in the top 10 to score 1 singular point for the Williams team. I told you it was going to be the race of the season. There was some good stuff in that, I have to say. Oh, Brazil. This is Brazil in a nutshell. It's brilliant. It is fantastic racing. There was action and drama and rain. It's everything that Brazil is. It's absolutely brilliant. Right. I'm going to invite the top 3 into the party. We're going to have a little chat, shall we? I'll be right back. So, need to invite... who do we need to invite? We need to invite... Winner Kickbutt Kiwi. Now I saw Harass left the session. I'm not actually sure whether or not he's going to be able to talk to us. And we'll get Big Donga in. I'm sure he would love to talk about his race. Because I think that was a great drive from him. What is your full name, mate? 619. I'm pretty sure I sent an invite to all 3. Once they join the session, I'll just tweak the party settings just so then we can hear the guys talk a bit more clearly. But my word, that was a race. Holy moly. There was some racing in that. Donga's joined, good to see.
G'day.
I'll just get into the showroom. There we go. Now, give me a minute, I'll just tweak the party settings and all that stuff. Party settings. Just audio mix. Party audio. And just to make sure with you two gentlemen that your Audio settings are on always allow. So in your, yep. So always allow your voice to be shared. That way I'm not talking into nothingness. And both of you are here. I don't think Harass will be joining us. I think he might have internet problems, it seems. But we'll start off with our race winner, Kick by Kiwi, mate. That was an excellent drive from pole to checkered flag. An excellent Brazilian Grand Prix. Just take us through your race for us, your qualifying and your Brazilian Grand Prix experience.
Yeah, so I don't really know where that pace came from. I didn't feel particularly fast tonight, but for some reason I managed to put it on pole, and then I knew that Harass would be quick in the race, so I was just trying to keep it clean and not corner cut and not make mistakes. But during the safety car I was fiddling with my MFD and ran deep at turn 1 and lost 2 spots, so I thought I'd thrown it away then. But somehow I managed to recover it during the pit stops. I don't know if he had a slow pit stop or something, but I came out in front of him, and then he just didn't have the pace at the end, so yeah, really, really happy.
Now, you look incredible in those wet conditions. Was it quite nice to drive in those slippery conditions?
Honestly, not really.
Really?
I've recently changed to no traction control.
Oh.
So when the rain came, I sort of panicked and went into my settings and changed to medium.
Oh yeah, okay.
To keep it on the road. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. I was just really happy because Harass seemed to fall away and then he disconnected or something, and I just breathed a big sigh of relief because I could kind of relax and not attack too much. So yeah.
Well, this is your second win of the championship, your first win coming at Hockenheim, but it was under very incredible circumstances. It must feel pretty good to win properly on circuit without any sort of dramas going around you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Donga and Harass will attest to the dirtiness of that first win potentially. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was nice to get a good one that wasn't kind of filthy and with a cloud hanging over it. So yeah, very, very happy.
No, that was an absolutely superb drive, as I said, from pole. Were you expecting pole, by the way? Do you like Interlagos?
I do like Interlagos. It's quite a technical sort of driver's circuit. It's a good challenge. But I definitely didn't expect pole. I think I maybe fourth or fifth on raw pace. So if I can get around there in quali, I'm usually quite happy. But yeah, to get pole was a very pleasant surprise.
It was very, very well done, mate, and congratulations on the win, and a very nice win at that. Unfortunately, Harass couldn't join us for P2 interview, so we'll move on to Big Donga. Mate, that was an excellent drive. Now, the position counter said you only gained 4 positions from where you qualified. I know you did a lot more work than that. After getting caught up in the pit stops, going all the way to the back and then fighting your way up to finish 3rd. That is an absolutely excellent drive, mate. Well done. Just take us through your Brazilian Grand Prix.
Qualifying, I thought I would have had Kiwi on my last lap. I was up by about 5/10 on my time on my fast lap and I got invalidated, so a bit disappointed there. Started off 6th, had a good start, and then it sort of all went wrong after the first pit stops.
Yep.
Had the safety car, bumped into the back of Lunacy, onto the safety car, got 10 seconds from that.
Oh.
So I had to pit and take 10 sec. It was 2 5-second penalties actually. So I had 1 stop with a 5-second stop go.
Yeah.
And then the second one I managed to serve under the safety car, which I put onto the mediums. That was when I started my charge back to the front of the pack. And yeah, I sort of just got into a good rhythm, kept my head down, and managed to, well, finish 4th on track, but managed to get Griffin on penalties.
No, you drove absolutely well. Like I said, I noticed you and Lunacy so far at the back. I was wondering what happened, but thank you for clarifying that incident between you two. But no, it was an excellent drive from you. Are you also a fan of this Interlagos circuit?
Yeah, I do quite enjoy Interlagos. Qualifying pace, sometimes I'm a bit off, but once I get to a rhythm around the race, I'm generally pretty quick here, so I do enjoy this track quite a lot.
No, you did absolutely well to recover to a podium finishing position. Absolutely well done, mate. Excellent drive from you.
Thank you.
Now, a question to both of you. There were quite a few incidents through that race. Did either of you catch what happened at turn 10, lap 1? Because, holy moly, was that something?
Oh, I think so. I saw someone spin in front of me. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah,
I think it was Suskas.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember someone, I think it was whoever was in front of me, spun their tyres and just went around at the, turn 10. So it's quite interesting.
No, trust me, fella. Check the stream. It's probably the most incredible incident you'll ever. In fact, it involves your teammate, Kickbutt Kiwi, Ardy.
Yeah.
And
I heard rumours of stuff going on down the order that wasn't
there was some
G-rated, so yeah.
Yeah, there was some amazing stuff. Just if you want to see it, watch the stream. Literally, lap 1. It's I've never seen such a thing before in my life. But I don't know what to add on. I think we've pretty much covered it. Oh, actually, Kickbutt Kiwi. Now, you already mentioned you made a mistake at turn 1 under safety car. You lost 2 positions in the process, but you managed to get back 1. Now, I noticed you overtake Harass. Did you get a warning prompt come up saying for you to get back behind?
Yeah, so I basically just panicked and I thought, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to take positions back, so I just zoomed past both Misty and Harass, and it let me pass Misty, and then I passed Harass, and it told me to give the
Give
position
it back. Right.
So I kind of had to, and yeah, honestly thought the race was done at that point, because Harass doesn't make many mistakes. But yeah, somehow I got it back and then
Yeah, I was wondering what happened, why you backed off. I thought it might have been a moral thing, but no, it was the warning thing came up. Yeah, I thought as much. But no, you recovered to win in the end, so again, well done. And I think that's about covers it. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining me in the commentary box, asking a couple of questions for what was a very nice race. Good luck to both of you going into Abu Dhabi, which is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be an chaos fest or it's going to be boring. So either way, good luck and have fun for next week.
Thank you.
all good. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Well, that is another race out of the way. It's time for the final round. 10 points separate the top 2. It's Harass versus Misty Griffin. We're going to the worst designed racetrack ever, Yas Marina. However, in this game, as I said, it's one of two things. It's either boring or it's chaos, action, drama, and amazement. It's usually one of those two things. And I'm hoping it's the latter. But until the next week, I've been the Smeg. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in Abu Dhabi. Good night.